Welcome to We Know Crypto. Coming up, Bitcoin 2022 in Miami Beach. Cathie Wood announces she's dumping PayPal in favor of Bitcoin. We're keeping you up to date with our chart analysis, and we break down how safe indeed is SafeMoon, our coin of the week. Hello everyone and welcome to the show. I'm Alara and I'll be stepping in for Tom this week. In case you're wondering where he is, I don't know myself either, but I'm hoping he's somewhere nice and exotic. But someone who is here is our show regular. It's the king of Canadian crypto, John Doe. Hi John, how are you doing today?
What's up? How's everybody doing this week? Tom looks different. We got a new professional, Laura, on here.
In a good way, I hope he looks different. Also joining us today, a master of the metaverse, it's e-commerce expert Justin Bannon from Boson Protocol.
Thanks, pleasure to be here.
Okay, let's get straight to the headline news. Well, of course, the big news over the last week was the Bitcoin 2022 conference in Miami Beach. It was the largest Bitcoin event in the world, which saw 25,000 attendees each day, with thousands more joining virtually. It looks like a lot of fun out there. Everyone was there. John, I'm surprised you didn't make it.
No, I did not make it this year again, but I think it's time. The crypto adoption is growing. The events keep getting bigger. Maybe I might do a performance at one or something.
And Justin, were you able to make it down?
No, I wasn't, but many years ago, it seems now, like probably about 4 years ago, I spoke at one, and I know a lot of the Bitcoiners and blockchain people down there, and it's a great combo of blockchain and the beach.
Well, of course, we all know last year's conference saw El Salvador rocked the cryptosphere.
Next week, I will send to Congress a bill that will make Bitcoin a legal tender in El Salvador.
And there was, of course, a lot of anticipation for what this year's event might throw up. Nothing quite on that level, but there were some pretty big headlines. First up, Strike CEO Jack Mallers announced that the world's leading digital payments platform, built on Bitcoin's Lightning Network, was integrating with e-commerce platform Shopify.
So first and foremost, Strike's officially partnered with Shopify.
So this is pretty big news, especially Justin, you are kind of an expert in the e-commerce space. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of traditional payment networks plugging into the metaverse and a lot of cryptocurrencies plugging into e-commerce, and with Boson Protocol, we also bridge those two worlds as well in a slightly different kind of Web3 native way. But those two worlds are colliding, and metaverse commerce, Web3 commerce, decentralized commerce, I think in 5 years' time is going to be the norm, just like e-commerce is today.
It's great that now we have Web3, Ethereum, and the metaverse stuff, and now that's all being integrated with Bitcoin and real-world use cases. So it's good to see Bitcoin used as payments, and then we also have e-commerce, the traditional, and now we have the digital coming on the way.
What do you think this means for Bitcoin and its push for greater utility?
I think it's another big step towards mass adoption, and we've been waiting for moves like this for a long time, and I think it's been a long wait, and I think it's going to happen all at once, and this year we're just going to see cryptocurrencies becoming like the de facto means of payment.
Couldn't agree more. That's exactly the route that we're going.
And that brings us on to our second headline. Cathie Wood, the legendary founder of crypto investment firm ARK, announced that she sold all of the firm's PayPal assets in favor of a more Bitcoin-focused payment method. She said she believes more in the long-term growth of the Cash App payment system, which of course is run by Jack Dorsey's firm Block. Thoughts on this news, guys?
Stuff like this being headline shows that how early we are, and to see funds switching from traditional things like PayPal, moving to Cash App, and things that are more focused on digital payments, that shows just we're still in the beginning of the adoption and the use cases. So it's good to see more money being backed in these types of companies. I've seen a lot of athletes and musicians starting to earn their income, and I've seen UFC fighters as well earning their income in Bitcoin. And I think they just recently enabled people to convert their paychecks into Bitcoin. So Cash App is definitely going to be that bridge for that mass adoption in terms of payment in that way, similar to how PayPal was in like the early 2000s to where we're at right now.
Where things are going is actually tokenizing the assets on chain, and that's what Boson Protocol does, right? Tokenize real world products and services as NFTs or as on-chain tokens that can then be traded and then obviously purchase those on-chain rather than doing the more traditional thing of taking currency to point of sale. So hey, all this adoption is great for the industry, but I think there's a lot of disruption coming, and it won't necessarily look like paying with a different type of currency at point of sale.
But what does this mean for PayPal?
I mean, if you look at the history of technology and adoption, like big companies like Barnes and Noble, what happened when Amazon came along? Amazon was e-commerce native. They both sold books. Amazon was a tiny startup. They got left behind because they didn't have the technology DNA to embrace the new paradigm. And PayPal is built on Web 2 rails. It's a Web 2 thoroughbred, and it's very hard to make the transition to Web 3. So I think we've got massive disruption coming, and the VCs, that's their job to spot it, right? And they're switching horses to Web 3.
And it's crazy to think, I think Elon was one of the people who started PayPal. And if you look where he's at today compared to where PayPal's at, so there's obviously a big difference in what's being left behind and what is going to be in the coming up right now and in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our next headline. Over the weekend, Miami unveiled its own version of the iconic Wall Street charging bull, the BTC bull, to mark its plans to become a crypto hub.
So many countries want to be a crypto hub and cities want to be a crypto hub. So it really comes down to which is going to adopt it and have the best rules set for people to be able to transact and use their cryptocurrencies there.
There's a big community of people there that really get crypto, great developers, great crypto business people. So it's a natural hub.
Well, that brings us on to our final headline news of this week. And of course, Bitcoin 2022 wasn't the only thing going on this week. As predictable as day follows night, well, guess what? Luna accumulated more Bitcoin. Over the weekend, the Luna Foundation Guard purchased another 173 million in Bitcoin, now reaching nearly 40,000 Bitcoins worth over 1.6 billion. Justin, what do you make of this move by Luna?
Well, I think the stated goal is sort of domination of the kind of DeFi space, and so whilst I think it's great for Bitcoin pricing short term and stuff to have big purchases like this, the end game is a more equitable, decentralized economy. And so I fundamentally believe that Bitcoin should be in the hands of the people, and encourage people to retail buyers to go and buy it up. But so that's kind of my view. But hey, it's good, it's adoption, but really what this movement about is about having a kind of people's currency, right?
This kind of reminds me of the whole Tether doing this back in 2017. They had their stable coin and then they're buying a lot of Bitcoin. So, and then we've seen how that turned out, but hopefully with Luna, this is a different turnout than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings us to the end of our news. But if you're a data diehard, your luck's in now. It's time for a chart attack. Okay, let's have a look at what's been happening in the Bitcoin markets. No Tom this week, so just you, John. What have you got for us?
Bitcoin, things are not looking very good. Last week, we did test that resistance up towards $48,000, but now we did make a new monthly low here in April, and price is heading back to this previous yearly support from March towards $35,000. And currently right now, we're at $40,000 for Bitcoin, and price did actually come back down below these two moving averages here, which is the 50 and the 20 weekly moving average range. So we could look for a potential bottom in this range towards $36,000, something like what we had back here in June. And this Bitcoin weekly RSI, if we look, it is heading back down towards the oversold range. So we could have a bullish divergence form here on that weekly RSI. Now let me pull up the daily chart here for Bitcoin to kind of look at momentum. If we look at this daily momentum, we tested that 200-day moving average up at $48,000. But since then, price has been pushing towards the downside and corrected now about 17% from that previous run up, which is almost pretty much erased now, which was 20%. So now this whole move has reset. We made a new monthly low for April. But one thing I do like right now is we're making a monthly low for April. And as well on top of that is this RSI is pushing down towards oversold. And the RSI has not been this oversold for Bitcoin since back in February. And before that was right at the beginning, right at the end of January 2022. And if we look at all those other times, this was a low RSI, and now we're getting the third low RSI. So if this support level towards $35,000 to $40,000 does hold for Bitcoin, then we could see a reversal here again with the RSI pushing upwards and another test towards $48,000 for Bitcoin here within this next week or so.
And John, if I recall correctly, you did mention that if the markets go green, that we might see a potential new hair color. Is that still in the works?
Maybe I'm still waiting. Maybe I might have to go to red. If we go to 20K, I'm going to red. That would be the short, the bottom signal.
And now it's time to have a rummage through our pockets for loose crypto and pull out another coin of the week. Our coin of the week this week is, drumroll please, SafeMoon. SafeMoon is a cryptocurrency token that was launched under the Binance Smart Chain blockchain in March of 2021. And throughout last year, it received a myriad of whales and celebrity endorsements, of course, including popular YouTuber Jake Paul, Backstreet Boys singer Nick Carter, and popular DJ Afrojack, which contributed to the market cap reaching $5.75 billion in last year alone. And of course, at one point, it was the fifth most talked about cryptocurrency. However, since the early spike in price last year, investors' faith in SafeMoon has dropped drastically, with the price dropping a staggering 75%. So where do you see SafeMoon going from here, John? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, last year when a lot of people were asking me about this coin, and all I did was just give a warning because I didn't really see any reason for it. And usually when I see everyone asking me about a coin that doesn't have any much utility and it's backed by just hype, I just tell people, okay, be careful.
Yeah, and what about you, Justin? What's your thoughts on SafeMoon?
I'd just echo John's sentiment. I'm not aware of any sort of massive differentiator or sort of utility, and so I keep an open mind. I'm a supporter of people building in crypto, so I don't won't say anything negative, but let's wait and see some great things from them.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. That is all that we have time for now. And of course, there will be another coin in the spotlight next time. But for today, that's all for now. Thanks to John and Justin for joining me today. And of course, thanks for Tom for having me step in. There's more from Justin. You can catch an in-depth chat with him on our Crypto God Show. And of course, as always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you've enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for having me. And until next time, goodbye.